talkradio.nyc.
Your boy, the one and only, the kid, the nonprofit sector connector. 2 flights up from the kitchen, just where I got more coffee, because you could tell already I have not had enough caffeine yet today. So I got a lot to talk about. We got the Nicholas Center in the house, not really in the house, not really in my attic, but virtually in the house. I'm going to say hello to my guests, and then I got a lot to say before, after, all during that. Nicole Ferrara, Stella Spanacos. Good morning. I'm Tommy D. How are you?
Good morning.
Fine. Thank you.
Love it. Love it. We got a lot of stories to tell. We're going to get to that in a moment or two. This show is called Philanthropy and Focus. I am called, as I say, the nonprofit sector connector. Since I'm 2 years old, they've been calling me Tommy D, not the nonprofit sector connector, because that would have been foreshadowing had they been calling me that since I was 2 years old. Got a lot to tell you. I don't have a sponsor here, but since I had an awesome week this week, I'm going to say this show is brought to you in part by Vanguard Benefits and the Vanguard Benefits Hall of Fame Awards. Why would I say that? Well, because I'm one of the owners in the company. And why else would I tell you that? Because we went out and saw 4 Long Island-based employers that are now the first class, the 2024 class of Vanguard Benefits Hall of Fame. ECM Medical Management, Sunrise Credit Services on the for-profit side. And 2, that's right, count them, 1, 2, Cerebral Palsy of Nassau County, met with the team yesterday. What an awesome event that was. And then earlier this week, Rise Life Services out in Riverhead. Do we have a bent towards serving the nonprofit sector? Yes. Do we have an bent towards serving organizations that serve individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities? Yes, we do. By the way, the Nicholas Center is here. We will get into all that talk. Last night, I'm listening to a podcast that I was on with a group called Agents of Humanity. Shout out to Tara and Tomas and Robert and my friend Jason, who I thought I had a lot of energy until I met that young man. I got to go into their studio a couple weeks ago, and that just dropped, Agents of Humanity, on Spotify with your boy, the nonprofit sector connector. What bliss I had that day. I'm telling you, we started out that conversation. Some of the stuff didn't make it into the show I listened to last night, but there was a little give and take with me and one of the hosts there. We got a little emotional. We talking about people experiencing homelessness and how we all need to support each other. And I remember we, like, moments into the show, we were very welled up, and it was just, the whole show was awesome. You got to check that out. I wanted to tell you all about that. I want to tell you to look out for the New York City Imagine Awards. We're in the semifinalist stage. We're going to find out who the finalists are very shortly. Within like a matter of a week or two, we're going to know who the finalists are. And before you know it, we're going to be telling you that the Long Island Imagine Awards applications are open again. That's what goes on, man. My whole world. I have a friend of mine. He's like, Tommy D, you're always talking about the Imagine Awards. You're always like on an Imagine Awards meeting. I go, yeah, because I'm the nonprofit sector connector, man. All right, let's get after it. A month ago, I am at the, let me go back. I'm at the Nassau County executive, the county execs meeting on Autism Awareness Day, Autism Awareness Week, the month, the whole thing. However, I wouldn't be there if I wasn't on the board of Horseability and had been invited to the exec's office for another event honoring Siegelman Stables. Siegelman Stables connected to Horseability. Siegelman Stables, you know, the cool hats everybody's wearing and stuff like that. Shout out to Max Siegelman and Robbie Siegelman, the whole thing. But I got invited, and then the gang over there at the county exec's office was like, Tommy D, you seem like you're a man about town. We should probably invite you to things. And I said, you probably should. It was either that or I said, you guys should probably invite me to things. Either way, I got invited to something. And I got invited, and I'm there schmoozing, and I see my friend, who's now my friend, Stella Spanacos, who I knew of you because you're a bit of a celebrity, you know? You are. You are. Shaking. So we connected, we chatted a little bit, we had some laughs, took a picture together, and the next thing I know, I get wound up in this whirlwind again of the Nicholas Center, which I was aware of, and I was supposed to come on the podcast. Shout out to Leanne Vetrone, making sure that all happened and getting me on that show and getting you on this show. And here we are today. And Nicole Ferrara, the co-founder of the organization, is here. So I connect with Stella that morning, and here we get to this point on a hot July morning, especially if you are at the top of your house, just below the roof, in the attic, like I am. All right, let's get after it. I want to hear the stories. I want to hear about this organization. Why does it exist? The great work that it's doing. When I left the studio that day from Agents of Humanity, I was given chocolates and I was given a candle. And I really wanted to do like one of these unboxing that they do, or unbagging like they do on like TikTok and Instagram. But I have 4 children. And someone else already decided they were going to do the unbagging when I was busy with something else, when the bag was on the dining room table. You can't leave chocolates around in a house full of kids. You shouldn't leave chocolates around when there's a Tommy D monster in the room. But when there's kids around, it's even a whole other level. All right, let's get into this show. I'm doing my best to try and focus, which is not exactly something I'm great at. Nicole, Stella, good morning again. Why does this organization exist? What happened? How did you two connect? I'm going to play off you guys, see who wants to answer first. Stella, Nicole, tell me about the Nicholas Center.
I met Nicole. I want to say, I don't know, maybe 5, 10 years prior to the Nicholas Center. She was this very energetic little thing, and she had co-founded another organization. And I went to several of their workshops, and this is when, at the time, we were all fighting to get ABA recognized, and in the schools, so they were putting on workshops. I went to one, and I said, "My God," I go, "these two women are on the right path. This is a whole different animal. It's not an LD. It's not this. It's not that. The spectrum is a whole different learner, whole different person." So through that, I met Nicole, and they were trying to start this organization. And they were both, I guess, in their 20s, very young, like 15 years old or so. My son was like 10 years older than her son Adam. My son Nicholas, her son Adam, both have autism. And so, I was at a different stage with my son, where she was beginning, and I just said, "These two women are so on it. This is where we need to be, and this is the information that needs to be to get out there." So I started helping her fundraise and get them established, and then years later, I was on the board of and helped that organization. But again, my son was 10 years older, so my focus was more on what comes next.
Yeah, for the adult population, really, like what is it? So
Yeah.
there's the school age challenges and obstacles and opportunities, and then there's the after school stuff. So let me go to Nicole on that, because that's so perfectly done, Stella. Thank you. So Nicole, what was this organization that you had run and were founding? And let's define ABA, if somebody could do that for us.
Well, at the time, ABA is applied behavior analysis, and it was a science or evidence-based method that was, breaking tasks down. There was research behind it that showed that it helped individuals, primarily with autism, learn, help them learn, digest information when it was broken down, reinforcement-based learning practices. And that was what many families were looking for answers. This was back in, I guess, what was it, it's about over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was research, and that was what we were able to bring to our districts in order to validate the need for services and, during school services that we wanted this intense level one-on-one support, whether it was in the classrooms or after hours. And many of us during that time set precedents in our school districts to receive additional services. And with that, so I and another individual, we found another mother. We co-founded an organization on Long Island, and bringing in professionals into the field of that field, to educate parents and educators on applied behavior analysis. And it was incredible. And from there, we founded the school. And like Stella said, we very quickly learned that, as valuable as that information was, ABA is a type of a therapy or a type of service that is not easily accessible in every environment. So as the individuals, age out of the school system, they don't have access to those types of services.
Yeah.
So, and I think that was the greatest concern, is once you get out of that bubble of fighting for all these services, once your child turns 21, the greater part of their life, is really what you should be preparing for. And not that an ABA was obviously incredibly powerful and valuable in many of our children's lives. It's taught our children, many of us, to be toilet trained, to speak, to learn very functional life skills. I know it was instrumental in many of the skills that my son had learned. However, as he aged now, there was a time when he just began to plateau, and now it was about, teaching him life skills and how does he apply these things in a real world environment? Like, is he going to be independent? Will he be able to live independently? Will he be able to have a job? And as they get older, and as you realize, in some cases, when you start realizing, okay, my child will not be indistinguishable from his peers. He will be needing support for the majority of his life. Once that reality sets in, you realize you have to start planning very differently. And that is where Stella was when she met me, when I had very rose-colored glasses. I was like ready. I was going to make my son indistinguishable from his peers. By 5, he was going to be, he was going to be graduating, going to, regular high. He was just going to be perfect, because I was doing all the right things and fighting for all the right causes. And, once that reality sets in, and, even after doing all the right things, it's okay. It's okay. You just learn that that's not what's going to happen. And you learn that you have to just embrace a different reality. And you surround yourself with folks like Stella, who are very real, and realize that life is just going to be different. And you have to now figure out a way on how we are going to make this world a kinder, a better, more functional place for our kids to live. And that's what she asked me to help her do.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to get into so much about that, but if I could just jump in and say to you, embrace a different reality. I'm loving what you're saying, because, I'm all about ending stigma. I have a whole nother show called #Ending the Stigma Together, and breaking down these barriers and these stigmas. And, I want to give some folks who may not be in this work as much as you are, and certainly as I am adjacent, and also raising 4 kids. So I know I know my way around a CSE meeting. I'll just drop it out there. I'm pretty good at a CSE meeting. I mean, my wife calls in the big guns, me. But I would say, just to give folks some context too, that aging out thing at 21, when folks lose services, they've had, I'll use my own words, but like wraparound services. It's like what you're establishing as a challenge, or what we know is the challenge, and you're establishing it as an opportunity to make change, is Well, they need services still as adults, right? They need
Mhm.
support. So how do we create that? It makes me think about, so I'm on the board. I already dropped out there to tell you Horseability, but I'm on the board of the Spirit of Huntington Art Center, where we have the Artworks program. As our individuals age out at 21, they come to the Spirit of Huntington Art Center and they learn all the Adobe full suite. All right, here's another commercial for the agency, okay? My company, Vanguard Benefits, our marketing team is the team at the Spirit of Huntington Art Center. So it's really not a commercial for us, it's a commercial for them. But the Spirit of Huntington Art Center, the individuals, the neurodiverse individuals, were on site with us doing camera work. They do marketing work. They do all stuff for us at Vanguard. Like, that's how intertwined we are as an agency in this world. But I tell you all that because it's organizations like Spirit of Huntington, it's organizations like the Nicholas Center that are creating that continuum, I'll call it. What is that next step, right?
Mhm.
Where do we need support? I will tell you this, I don't want to say, sometimes I get a little flagrant and I'm like, I don't even think there's a such thing. What is normal? And like, everybody's different, but I think everybody is different. And I think mental health
Mhm.
is a spectrum and learning abilities is a spectrum. And obviously autism is spectrum. But I mean, I got at 40, I'm 47. I guess I was 43 when we figured this out. I got the old ADHD, man, and I tell everybody about it because we're ending stigmas and we're breaking it down for people. But
Yeah.
I used to think I was lazy and didn't do, and there's a lot of stuff going on here that we all got to learn from. And I have a good friend, and then we'll probably go to a break in a second. But my friend Dr. Larry Grubler, second ever episode of this program. Just to put that in context, this is the 219th episode of this campaign called Philanthropy and Focus. But Dr. Larry Grubler from Transitional Services for New York, TSINY, came on this show. They served 5,000 individuals with mental health issues in New York City. And he said to me, Tommy D, we all need support at different times. And I say it all
Mhm.
the time. We all need support at different times. So the work you all are doing, whether it be the chocolates, or the vocational stuff in other fields, or the fact that you got this incredible podcast. By the way, I was on it. It's called Agents of Humanity. And I can't wait to go back on that show. I'm fired up because I listened to it at like 10 o'clock last night and I can't get out of my head. I cried a little bit last night, to be honest with you, because
Aw.
I was so touched by just interacting. And one of the things that came up on the show is one of the hosts mentioned a particular guy who's a musician in a band. Like, I wasn't going to put this out there, but I will now. So he mentions this guy who's called Garrett Russell. And apparently Garrett Russell's in a band called, I think it's Silent Planet. So I texted a friend of mine last night and was like, any shot we can get to this guy, Garrett Russell. I don't know him. So Garrett Russell, my name is Tommy D. If you find this podcast, hit me up on the Instagram, TommyD.NYC, or send me an email, TommyD at Philanthropy and Focus, PHOCUS.com. And if you know Garrett Russell, hit us up because we got to get him on Agents for Humanity. That's called networking. That's called connecting. That's called leverage. So anyway, I'm all over the map. But the point of this is we need support. We need these guardrails. And when we come back from break, you all are going to tell me we established what the challenge was back then. And it's still a challenge to this day, let's be honest. But we established what it was that got you to come together and create what is called TNC, the Nicholas Center. That's a good setup. Let's leave them right there as a cliffhanger. We'll be right back.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
That is right. Not only is that right, that is also my uncle Uncle Brendan Levy. Shout out to the Goods. Used to be called the Goods, now they're called Damaged Goods. Brendan and I wrote that song together. Brendan is singing it because I guess they didn't want to hear me say nonprofits need connections. They wanted to hear Brendan's like sweet voice and not Tommy D's harsh voice, I guess. But anyway, I sing it around the house. All right, that's the song. This is the show, Philanthropy and Focus. The organization is called the Nicholas Center. Innovate, inspire, and include. Hashtag inclusion. Gang, if you don't know it, I am involved with Best Buddies. Best Buddies, what used to be part of the Best Buddies, well, I still kind of am quasi-connected to the New York City advisory committee, but honestly, we just rolled off into a Long Island advisory committee. So shout out to the advisory committee here on Long Island. We got a really strong group of folks. I've been networking, connecting with them, and Brittany Carroll is really our leader who runs development for New York for Best Buddies. So there's a connect right there that we got to talk about. But that word inclusion sticks with me. Innovate, inspire, and include. Doesn't sound like a radio guy, right? Sounds like oh wait, I am. Nicole, Stella, what happened next? So we figure out what the problem was and the opportunity. Now we got to go to work. So what happens there? What do you do?
Divine intervention happened.
Tell me about that.
I had been, my son at this point was turning 18, so I was going out and looking at what comes next. I was looking at vocational programs, day programs, all the options out there, and they were pretty dismal. I was not okay with what I saw for my son, and I would come home at night and I would tell my husband, that I would just like, Paul, I just don't know what we're going to do. I'm very upset. I said, as a former educator, I was a social studies teacher for 15 years. I said, I might have to go back to work and create what needs to be.
Why? What upset you, Stella? I just want to stay there for a moment. What was it that upset you? I mean, this is not you're not talking that many years ago, right? How many years ago are you talking about?
My son is now 33.
Okay, so we're talking like 15 years ago, right? And
Yeah.
so 15
to 21. Yep.
right? So okay, so we're talking that at that point it wasn't there. So you got to
No, I mean, you would go to a very large warehouse where they were just assembling widgets under fluorescent lights, and I saw very little socialization. I saw all the things that I didn't want to see. I saw young kids with autism next to a person like 20 years older with Down syndrome. So my question is, if what skills are you teaching them, and how come none of them haven't advanced? Why are they still doing? Or why are you telling me they're still learning how to disassemble? I just didn't see that. I just saw things as mimicking really a real life situation, recreation, work, self-care, all of these things. And as I said, during my discovery of all this, my husband got on a red-eye flight to Las Vegas. He was in the Garment Center, but also he was also a ranked Texas Hold'em player. He was flying out actually to the World Series of Poker on a red eye, and in flight his aorta ruptured, and he was pronounced dead. So with that, when the detective showed up at my home, and they told me what had happened, the first person I called was Nicole. And, it's like the shock really hadn't set in yet. But I knew that we were in the Garment Center, and I knew I couldn't run his business, so I knew I was going to liquidate it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also thought, when God closes a door, he always opens a window, and you just have to look and be there. Okay? And, you can't wallow in self-pity, or you're just not going to accomplish anything. So with that, I said, Nicole, I said, if I sell, the business and I take my life insurance policy, I said, we could do this ourselves. We have the funds. And that's how our journey started. And we said it had to be both. We both knew that the concept of a social enterprise really needed to be put out to the rest of the business world. That this is, that there are businesses that are created with this very specific social mission.
So let's stay there a second. First of all, thank you for your candor and story with the background, and obviously my condolences on the loss of your husband. Never easy when we lose. You, though, were able to say, hey, there's something here, though, with this now. Is this, you called it divine intervention, so I'm just going to put it on the face. That's what you said. And then there was now an opportunity. So what does that mean? Let's define for folks, though, social enterprise. For those of us in the know, we know, but let's assume some people don't get it.
A social enterprise is a business that is created with a very specific mission. It can be a for-profit or a non-for-profit. And that's how we started. We created 2 organizations. Nicole, my husband was in the garment centers. Nicole got on the computer, Google searched recession-proof businesses. That's how she came up with the t-shirt business. So that's how we created Spectrum Designs Foundation.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Nicole's shaking her head. Is that not what you did? How did you figure out the t-shirt? It is what you did?
Yeah, that's what we did. It was,
she's
it was
like
funny
because on the computer. She's like amazing.
Well, it's funny because I was a stay-at-home mom when all this other stuff was going on and we were running conferences. I was a stay-at-home mom, with I had 3 kids, but I was running the conferences. But one of the things I was also doing was I was raising my children, but I was working since I'm 12 years old. So I could never not be working and not making some kind of income. So I used to sell favors. I used to do like wedding favors.
Okay.
And I knew the concept of selling things in quantity. So when the internet hit, I knew the whole concept of, people have weddings, you sell 100 things. If I just sell everything for $1 and you have 100 people, I make $100. Like it was, even if it was a $5 thing, I would only put $1. I knew I'd still make $100. So I knew that whole concept of selling, but I also knew there was something, to carry on the honor of Paul and him being in the garment center, quantity. And anyway, a t-shirt, but recession proof, it just kind of all aligned. I said, oh, well, t-shirts, you could sell, people don't only just buy one t-shirt, and even when times get tough, t-shirts, people are still buying t-shirts,
I got to talk to you about that. First of all, here's a couple of things that come up for me right now. First of all, t-shirts, I'm all in with you. But the next level for me is the hoodie, right? And last night, I'm going to say it again, while I'm listening to Agency Humanity and I'm seeing their logo with like the 4 little people and the headphones on, I'm like, dude, why is that not on a hoodie? And why am I not wearing it? Now it was like 94 degrees, so I shouldn't have been wearing a hoodie.
Yeah.
But I did have the air conditioner on, so who knew how it actually was outside. But my point is that Agents of Humanity needs to be on a t-shirt and a hoodie and needs to be on this body, but that's a whole nother thing to talk about later on. But you're right. That stuff, that swag, that fun stuff, the branding, I'm all about the branding. The reason I'm not wearing my Vanguard Benefits baseball jersey is because it's in the car, because I'm going to the studio to do a couple shows later today. So we have to have that, but I'm all about that stuff. So that's critically important. Yeah. So you saw that as an opportunity. So we got Paul's memory, we got the garment, right? Then we got, okay, cool, divine intervention. We got a recession-proof thing. And guess what? Hold that thought, because you could tell them the story when we come back. This is fun. I'm keeping people on cliffs all day, baby. Right back. Philanthropy and Focus. Hey, everybody. It's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy and Focus.
Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on talkradio.nyc.
Hi, I'm Linda Marcanico. The A Train to Sedona is a memoir about my journey to love and compassion. It's also the name of my new broadcast on Wednesdays at 12 noon. When we are spiritual, we embrace possibilities and ideas, which strengthen our mind, body, spirit, health, and wisdom. On the A Train to Sedona broadcast, I plan to interview guests who embrace these expansive practices. Join us on Wednesdays at 12 noon on Talk Radio New York City.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I see Stella bopping her head. After the first break, I saw Nicole bopping her head because that is the jam right there. I think Brendan, shout out to Brendan if you're listening. I talked to Brendan Levy this morning. Maybe we need to add like a whole song and not just a jingle. Maybe we gotta like a whole thing like We Didn't Start the Fire with Billy Joel. The Nicholas Center, Spirit of Huntington, Horseability, Cha-Cha-Cha, something like that. I don't know. Maybe Tommy, relax. Okay, I will. So listen, we're back. We kept them on a cliff now twice. We're holding it out. So now what happens? What do you do? You're talking about social enterprise. You're talking about this opportunity, right? We're talking about support, vocation, education. What happens next?
We decided to create the social enterprise, but we also said that we still need the people that the organization that's going to support, teach the skills, and create meaningful programs in the community as well, because not all kids can just working an 8-hour day. So this is how we came up with the concept of the two separate organizations, the Nicholas Center, which used to be the Nicholas Center for Autism. We just shortened it to the Nicholas Center. And then we had Spectrum Designs Foundation.
So what is that? So you have Spectrum Designs Foundation, the Nicholas Center. Let's define what their roles are in this situation here.
Spectrum is a business. Okay. And they make T-shirts and all promotional items. Anything that you need, massive quantities, embroidery, silkscreen, and but that's what they do. And their mission is to hire individuals on the spectrum. Mm-hmm. Whereas the Nicholas Center is the facility. Our staff are the ones that support, train, and offer all of these other opportunities in the community. We have millions of associations. Nicole, this is your wheelhouse.
Yeah, so the Nicholas Center is the human service entity. We're the ones who provide the wraparound services in the community, in places like Spectrum Design. So when individuals are hired, they require job coaching. We're the ones who have the contracts with OPWDD so that we can provide services to young adults through those types of services. We have contracts with school districts so that we can deliver IEP goals to young adults as they're preparing for their exit out of high school. So we're the human service entity, whereas Spectrum Designs was founded to run as a business. And we thought it was the right thing to do to form it as two separate nonprofits, because they're businesses at the end of the day, and they require two different types of leadership and governance, and they required two different types of boards, for instance.
So the separation, and in a quick answer, has the separation proven out to be a benefit? Have the two separate organizations?
Yeah, for the most part, they have, it was more of a, it was more to protect, in litigation, and, that was really the idea.
Right.
Um, the concept was truly to be that, running a nonprofit, as rewarding as it is, it's a business,
Of course.
right? And
Yep.
it's so fulfilling. And I think we're while as heartfelt as our mission is, it's running a business is challenging. We have payroll, we have very
Yep.
complex regulations that we have to navigate. We have HR issues. We're a Medicaid funded program on the
Yep.
Nicholas Center side. We have costs that we have to, rising costs and staff benefits that we have. So
Yep.
the beauty of having being closely aligned with a social enterprise was, if and when it became profitable, it would generate a revenue stream that could support any shortfalls that obviously exist in nonprofit work, which is why we are, which is why donations are so critical in our sustainability, and grant writing is, and so on and so forth. So since then, both organizations kind of function independently. We don't rely on Spectrum's revenues to support our work. And we do, now we have activities such, we started another social enterprise,
The
because
need is so great. The need is
yeah,
so great
the
that
need
we
is
went
so
out.
great. Yeah, so we started
Real quick. I want to ask you something, then we'll get, because I'm on the website. I got to point it out. Some people might not be watching us. They might only be listening. So if you're only listening to us, go to the website, tncnewyork.org, tncnewyork.org for the Nicholas Center. So there's so many things I want to talk about. Let's just go for really quick. We'll go, like, I have three ideas in my head at the same time. Welcome to my world. So first thing, the need is so significant, meaning there are so many individuals who have ability, right? And do not have access. So many people who are not being given opportunity that could be given opportunity if we focus on what they excel at, right?
yeah,
And not focus on what they're efficient in, right? Because I will tell you this, not to be self-deprecating, because I don't like to do that, but I suck at a whole bunch of things. And there's a whole bunch of things I'm not good at. And then there's a whole handful of things that I crush it at, right? This is one of them. This is one of them, he says humbly. But this, I know that if we focus on where people's abilities are and their interests lie and what they want to be involved with, they are going to excel. The TNC Chocolate Lab, TNC Candle Lab, these are just some of the things. Shout out to my friend Christine Fitzpatrick from League of Yes. A lot of shout outs. He's just dropping all the names today. All the Long Island nonprofit celebs are getting some love today. But Christine is my buddy, League of Yes, Lindy Lou Foundation in memory of my cousin Linda, which is, so by the way, Spectrum Designs has been doing our staff t-shirts for the Lindy Lou Foundation from the beginning, from when Linda passed and we had the organization put together and we do the Lindy Lou Classic, and Spectrum's been doing that stuff for forever for us. And
beautiful.
Yeah, we've featured Spectrum here on the show. We're focused on
that's great.
right now, but I can't believe this. We're going to run out of time again. It's out of control. You know what I always say? The tagline for this show is I help nonprofits tell their story and amplify their message. But then in parentheses, it says, we never run out of words. We always run out of time. That's like it's like the subtitle of the show. But so talk to me, how significant is the need? Stella, you said the need is huge.
We have a waiting list. It's the number of kids transitioning every year. It's like a tsunami.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and do you agree with me? I think you do, but do you agree with me that it's not a lack of ability, but it's a lack of us creating opportunities and pouring into these young people?
Yes, it's really about thinking outside the box and coming up with a solution.
100%. And that's the thing, man. Like, I'm really tired. Here he goes. I'm really tired of this like whole capitalist thing in Madison Avenue thing, and it's all buy more stuff and all these kind of things, and like companies got to make the 90-day goal and Wall Street and all these kind of things. Because why don't we just focus on having opportunities for people to build a lifestyle, build a career, have jobs that they're, and stop worrying about things. Just I don't know. Now I'm going to be like, people are going to say like, I don't know, they'll make comments about my politics. But the point of the matter is, I don't really care about Wall Street. I care about people. And if we care more about people and just giving them opportunities and helping them like thrive in their lives and creating businesses like you're creating here, I freaking love this stuff. Like, this is it. Like, this is the whole thing. This is what we need more of, gang. Look, I very easily could have said, hey, you know, our employee benefits agency and Tommy D wants to focus on hedge funds. Boring, not interested. What we do is we like to, and Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, I did just talk about myself in the third person. But I say we need to focus on supporting organizations like yours, which we're going to talk about, because I think it's next week. There's something going on up in Westchester that my friend Leanne will be texting me at 11:01 if we don't mention that there's something going on. So we will mention, Leanne, I promise we'll mention when we come back. There's an event, because what you do as a nonprofit organization is we raise funds through different events and community engagement, et cetera, et cetera. So we will talk about all of that. But I'm going to split. I'm not going to split. I'm going to go late to the break, which is kind of what we do here. Tell me about the chocolate place. Tell me about the candles, and then we'll go to break really quick, like a minute on each. Who wants to play?
It started off actually as an education program, and it was so well received that that after a year of the quality getting to a commercial level, we said, "What do you think?" I think we're ready, to open up a store and sell our goods. And so the chocolate lab went from an educational program to a commercial business. And the same thing with the Candle Lab.
Yep.
And it is an amazing store that we've created with absolute delicious assortments of chocolates, in
You are
addition to a
killing
variety of candles.
killing me right now. I'm like the Cookie Monster of chocolate. Like, I'm looking.
Mhm.
I can't. And you know, my favorite is the chocolate covered pretzels, because there's such a good deal when you get salt and sweet in the same shot, man.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about? I love that.
Well, last night,
Tell me.
I bought a bag of dark chocolate covered Twizzlers.
Oh, how were they?
Oh my God,
Mm.
I ruined my diet last
All
night.
right, so you're not good with this either. So that whole thing is not. You're not so great at that either. Okay, that's good. So it's not just. I'll tell you, there's a spot we used to go. So when we used to visit, like my in-laws have a place up in the Poconos, and like we used to go up there often when my wife and I were younger. And there's a spot up there. It's called Callie's Candy Kitchen. Didn't know they were going to get a plug today? Callie's Candy Kitchen they take potato chips and they
Mhm.
do potato chips and chocolate. Forget about it. Do you guys do that?
Actually, we have been experimenting with it.
All right. So if you need any bit, like, let's say, and this is not a joke, it is a joke, but I'm serious too. If you need a taste tester, you guys know how to reach me. I would love to come and play and be a taste tester. But I will say this: Tommy D, this guy, I am the honoree at the Options for Community Living Murder Mystery event. It is a
Ooh.
mafia murder mystery marriage, a lot of M's, like Eminem and Eminem, murder mystery event, which is on September 26th at Captain Bill's. Big deal, Options for Community Living. I'm bringing it up now, well, because I want people to know, but I'm also bringing it up now because I want to buy chocolates for the event. Like, let's use them as favors. So let's talk about that.
Beautiful.
Shout out to Melissa Pulcinelli, who I will see in a matter of an hour and a half in my studio. We're going to be talking about that event, but I want to put it out there. So your team needs to follow up with me and Melissa about chocolates for the event September 26th. And by all means, if you want to come in and play a little murder mystery that night, it is going to be, I don't curse on the show, but it's going to be a pisser because it's going to be super fun. But when we come back, we'll talk about candles and then I want to talk about what's upcoming for the organization. How's that sound? Good?
Perfect.
All right. If you approve, I approve. I'm Tommy D, and I approve this message. Right back.
Were you an essential worker during the pandemic? If you needed to learn stages of epilepsy, did you depend on advocates? Did you use new innovations to cope with mental and neurological issues? Maintaining high quality of life and keeping good mental health are what we all strive for. I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each week top healthcare influencers, professionals, and innovators answer these questions and more. Stay tuned on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will continue to be frank about health with all of you.
Ready to serve up success with a splash? Hi, I'm Bruce Kramer, a.k.a. the Corporate Cockroach.
I'm the Renaissance woman, Angie Snowball.
And I'm your strategy doctor, Dr. Navtej Desange, inviting you to Setting Up Success with a Splash.
Join us as we shake things up with real talk and real strategies centered around awareness, action, and accountability.
And yes, there really is a cocktail involved. Please join us and sip your way to success.
Serving up success with a splash, where wisdom meets happy hours. Cheers!
Cheers.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
Look at that, Stella singing my song. I used to threaten my guests and say, by the time we come back from the second break, you got to sing the song. Stella Spanacos singing the anthem, the Tommy D anthem. Welcome to the attic. That's not even in the song, Tommy D. I know, I'm making the remix. Welcome to my show. I'm looking at the website. By the way, the website is tncnewyork.org, tncnewyork.org. And there's these community partners, like back on the, like towards the bottom, it says, we volunteer both in person and off-site for your nonprofit and businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Shredding, alphabetizing. What does that actually mean?
Yes.
Before we go to the candles, because I see a lot of names I know. I see NAMI, I see Speak, the Art Guild is on here. They're tiny and I'm old, so I'm having trouble making out some of these logos, but Mercy University, Waldner's is on here. So you got businesses,
Yes.
nonprofits. Tell me about that stuff.
So we call it total fulfillment, where we like to, there's some of our individuals are working on their employment readiness skills. So what we do is we work with local nonprofits or organizations or businesses that require maybe some fulfillment tasks, and we do them on site. And we use them as job training opportunities for many of the young folks that come, young men and women that come onto our site. And it works well because they're in a more controlled setting, a place that's familiar to them, and they're just much more successful in our setting. So we'll either pick up the items that need to be assembled, or like we've done assembly or packaging for folks, and it's normally done. Normally we work out a little fee structure.
Mm-hmm.
We're very reasonable, and it really does assist in helping us help them build the skills that they need so they can continue on in their employment journey. So we really do encourage our community to continue, in order to have our organizations or community, the work that we do continue to thrive. We really do need to have our community members support the things that we do. So whether it's they're coming out buying our chocolates or our candles, it's helpful if they can reach out to us, and if there's ways that we can be of service to them and partner with us, we would love to do it, whether we're doing it on house or whether we can come to your site and help you move items around or move your product. We're happy to do it. It
And
really does.
that could be, sorry, Nicole, I cut you off there. That could be found on the website, tncnewyork.org.
Yes.
Or if you call this number, 516-767-7177.
Yes.
Another number, 914-919-9188, or send them an email, community@nicholascenterusa.org. Community@nicholascenterusa.org. I mean, that's a whole show where we could just talk about that community engagement
Yes.
stuff and the job training and things like that. What's the deal with the candles before I ask more questions about what's upcoming for the organization?
That was a new program we started this year.
Yes. Yes, and it was with your friend, Christine Fitzpatrick. She works with us. She actually works with the Nicholas Center now. She brought her candle product to the Nicholas Center, and because she had a process that she worked very hard on for many years, and she wanted to bring it to the Nicholas Center. And we now have her candles, which are very long burning and they're luxury.
Yes.
She taught our folks that process, and now the Candle Lab has been born, and both the candles and the candle products and our chocolate lab products are now in the Taste of New York shops.
Yes.
And
That's awesome.
yes,
Yes.
along the Thruway and also in the Long Island store there, and I think that's in Dix Hills.
It's the one
So we're very excited.
heading out east on the expressway. It's probably like
Yes,
51-ish, 52. Like it's like
yes,
rest stop. You
The Plainview exit, right after the Plainview
that's
exit.
right. So
Over
you will
there,
see
yeah.
the Nicholas Center candles from the Candle Lab, and the Chocolate Lab items are there. So please, if you're there, or encourage folks to take a look there, or come to our store at 195 Manor Haven Boulevard in Port Washington, or visit us and consider us for your bridal showers, corporate events, or as you said, for any fundraising activities that you have going. We're very happy to
And we ship anywhere. We ship
and we ship
everywhere and
anywhere.
anywhere.
Yep.
I love it. I love that.
The corporate gifts, we ship them right out.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's that e-commerce type of thing. That's so
Yes.
important. Listen, you're still selling, Nicole. I love it. You're still selling like you were selling, things for bridal showers 20 years ago, whatever you used to do. Like, I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I got to show one quick thing on the screen before I ask you some questions about what's upcoming, because I feel like I got to promote this because it's important to me, and and it's my show. So, really, really, really quick, we're going to go to options for community living. I'll share my screen. Options for community living, Tommy. Yeah, I'm from Long Island, living, baby. So you see here, Death of a Gangster, a 1920s mafia marriage murder mystery.
Oh, fun.
Captain Bill's, September 26th, Friday night, Roaring 20s. I'm already figuring out what my outfit's going to be. I will tell you, people are really going to have a lot of fun that night. Here's a little bit about your honoree. Well, you know me. And then we're also, I am the visionary volunteer winner, and then 4-Leaf Credit Union is involved. Shout out, I got some money over at the credit union 4-Leaf, so we got to talk to them. All right, so that's that. If that's interesting to you, reach out to me. Go to well, just send me an email, Tommy D at Philanthropy and Focus, PHOCUS. What's upcoming for this organization? What's going on next week? How can we help?
We have our own Night and White gala coming up next week.
Tell me about it.
It's our summer annual gala. We were having it at the North Hempstead Country Club. I believe we still have tickets. Right, Stella? I'm not sure, but
pretty close to being closed out.
I love that. That's what we want, but we still, you probably can always take sponsorships, even if you run out of
Yes,
tickets.
yes, we
absolutely.
This is what keeps the quality of our work intact.
So I misspoke. I said earlier that I thought this event was
no, yeah, I know it's not in West.
We just had that one.
Yes. Okay, so that's where I confused them. So right. This next week on the island.
Yes.
Yes, we have two programs. We have a Long Island program, and we opened, and 5 years ago we opened up a program in Westchester, and we did just have a beautiful gala there in May. But this one coming up next week is our Long Island. It's our annual gala.
I thought this was up. I have a conflict for another nonprofit on Long Island that night, and I thought, how the heck am I going to get to Westchester? But I could pull a double dip.
Oh, you sure can. You sure can.
Since it's a home game, I can pull a double dip. All right, everybody.
Perfect.
Our band is amazing.
Nonprofits. Did you say the band is amazing?
Oh, our band is amazing.
Wait, tell me about the band.
No,
you save the later part of the evening for us, okay?
Yeah. That's probably. I think that's how it would work out, because it's like
that's right.
A movie premiere. It's something for DDI, who you probably know and love the organization.
Yes.
They have shout out to Jennifer Carpenter Lowe, who invited me to an event Thursday night, and I think I'm going to do a little double dip. Now, it might be I try to stay away from the Red Bull, but it might be a Red Bull day, if you know what I'm saying. A little extra boost. But tell me about the band really quick.
Gaetano is amazing. He's headlined at my father's place all over. He is. We play live music, and we just we start off with with music from the 50s, 60s, Motown, and we just keep moving on up.
It's a dance party.
The 70s into the 80s.
I love that.
Dance the night away.
Let's go. Listen, I've been known to dance. Yesterday I was with the AFP group, AFPLI, Association of Fundraising Professionals, Long Island. I was out at the refuge, and they got outside. They had a reggae band outside every Thursday night. Apparently, the reggae music is there every Thursday night, and it's ladies' night. Not exactly relevant to me. I'm a married man, everybody, but I'm there for the reggae music and the connections last night, and it was like so cool. I dig live music, though, right? I mean, when my wife and I got married, which I think it was 111 years ago. When we got married, then it was had to have a band. Had to have a band. Totally different scene than having a DJ. And it's just live music is just so key. All right. Other than coming to these cool events that you have, other than coming and buying chocolates and candles and all these kinds of support, what else you need? Are there specific things on your short list of, what we really need, Tommy D? I don't know if anybody has a, what we really need Tommy D list, but if you did, what would be on it?
Good question. Really, all we need to do is get the message out. That's all we need. All we need is to create the ripple effect of little disciples saying, "Hey, have you ever heard of the Chocolate Lab? And this is amazing, and their product is amazing." And that's really what's key. Our product is amazing.
Yeah.
It's just not okay. It's great. What we use, the pretzels, all of it is top shelf, so that it is, it's an experience.
So I think you need more of this. I think you need more of a road show. You need more people talking about the stuff you're doing. So what I would say is one day, some of your participants from the Nicholas Center, the Chocolate Lab, the Candle Lab, meet me at my other place, my studio, North Shore TV, and we bring some chocolate and we bring some candles and we do an episode of Long Island Changemakers. I already invited Agents of Humanity to come through, but what if we had some of your participants who are in these programs and maybe some of the ones who've gone through the program and are now leaders in the organization come through and look, very simply, I can come through with my camera crew and we do some playtime and we do some stuff. But I think it'd be fun to have them in the studio and do some stuff there, because that's what this is. It's all about. And I'll put this out there. A friend of mine owns. This is a kind of a quick thing. It's Monday night. A friend of mine owns a softball team, a women's softball team that plays at Hofstra. They have a game Monday night. We're throwing out the first pitch. If anybody in your community wants to come as a guest of ours, my friend Jeff On owns that team. It's called the New York Rise. It's a late thing, but I'm putting this out there. And anybody else who's listening, it's not just I feel like I'm just the three of us on a Zoom meeting. There's actually people paying attention to what we're talking about too. If any of you all want to know about Jeff On and the New York Rise, send me an email, or I was going to say text me, but I can't have the whole world texting me. Tommy D at Philanthropy and Focus, or hit me up on Instagram, TommyD.NYC. But if you want to have folks come out to the game, that's what this is. It's about storytelling, so more getting people out in the community. So you two are welcome as my guests, your children, if they want to come through, and some of the young people at the Nicholas Center. There's only 3 home games left for the New York Rise, and it's just coming into my head right now to invite you.
When is the game again? At Hofstra?
At Hofstra, at the Bill Edwards Stadium.
Yep.
It's the New York Rise women's professional softball team. I went there about a week and a half ago. These young women are dynamite players, super fun. Jeff was on my show, Long Island Changemakers, a couple weeks ago. We are like at the close, but I understand what you need. I understood the assignment, as that song says.
Actually,
tell me.
If I really wanted to grab for my ultimate wish list.
Tell me quick, really quick.
This year happens to be the 15 years that my husband passed. It was last month. I can't believe it's been that long, but we have an opportunity to buy the building that the Chocolate Lab is located in. It's 195 Manor Haven Boulevard.
Okay.
And if there's an angel out there, please, from my mouth to God's ears,
or a group of angels.
Yeah. So what if we do this? Let's
exactly, Nicole.
Only because we're out of time, I'll make you a deal. We come on, the three of us, like next week. We do Facebook Live for 10 minutes. We talk about some capital campaign, talk about what it needs to buy that building. Only because we're out of time. If you are an angel, you go to the Nicholas Center right now and you call them up. You go to. Let's just give me a phone number. How do they get you if they're an angel right now and they have the money?
Call Leanne, 516-767-7177.
All right, we got to leave it there.
What's her extension?
We got to leave it. I will get you connected. Text me. No, don't text me, Tommy. You're not giving me your cell phone number. Email me, Tommy D at Philanthropy and Focus, and I'll get you connected to Leanne, or go to the website, tncnewyork.org. We are out of time. It happens here only every week. Nicole,
God bless you.
thank you. He's blessing me a lot. Stella Spanacos. Make it a great day, everybody. I'll see you next Friday.
Yasu, Palikali.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.